Welcome everyone, this is On This Restart, and this time we're going to be talking about a new Nintendo leaker that's on the scene, going by the name SyluxHunter, and they're showing to have a pretty darn good record so far. It's spotless actually, and they're now teasing what appears to be a new F-Zero game, which is super exciting, but they're also seemingly supporting the notion of a Metroid Prime Remake coming out later this year as well, which is also super exciting. So today we're talking about these rumors of Metroid Prime, this new rumor of F-Zero, and we're talking about this leaker, their track history here, whether it should be believed or not, and how it compares to other leakers that this persona of Sylux has been attacking on social media, which is kind of funny, but also different. So we're getting into all of that today. Now before we jump into things, let me first very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen. You can check that all out. And if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe or perhaps like the video. It's super helpful. But now let's get into things. So first, let's talk about this persona that is Sylux or SyluxHunter on Twitter, and then we'll get into the Metroid Prime and more importantly the F-Zero rumor, because that's more of the new information here. But first off, SyluxHunter is relatively new. Their Twitter is not old, hasn't been around that long. They had a pretty small following before things blew up, and things blew up with the new Bayonetta 3 trailer that confirmed the release date for October 28th. SyluxHunter on their Twitter was saying that Bayonetta 3 would be coming out October 28th, and they even told us when we would see this announcement. They were 100% spot on about this. But it's not just the most recent information they gave us, but there's actually more. If you look throughout their page, they've said other things. They talked about how there was going to be a partner direct a few days beforehand. They talked about how there would be Mario Rabbids and Nier Automata and Persona. Now, all of those things, including the release date, were things that were predictable. I predicted that. I talked about all those things happening around the same time as well, but that was just my own prediction. I didn't know for a fact, but I believed it. So it's possible that maybe these are just pretty good predictions as well, but the Bayonetta 3 thing, the release date, okay, maybe you could predict that right next to Halloween, sure. But the timing of when it would be announced, that's where things get a little uncanny. But if you look through, there's more than that. They actually predicted, or leaked I should say, the Mario Kart DLC before it was announced. Back when people thought we were getting a Mario Kart 9, when there were industry analysts saying they were hearing about the next big Mario Kart, when there were quote-unquote leakers saying that there was going to be a Mario Kart 9 announced soon, and instead what we got was DLC for a game that initially came out in 2014, in 2022. That's pretty hard to predict. So they got that right. And there doesn't seem to be any evidence here of them sort of deleting some tweets and things like that, trying to hide things they got wrong, making them seem to be like a perfect leaker, but they really just put out a lot of different ideas and got some right and then hid the rest. There's no evidence of that. In fact, this person has sort of held this personality, this persona of Sylux, someone who hates the Galactic Federation, who hates Samus, and they really play into this. There's a lot of witty retorts and comments and allusions to Metroid lore. It's a really fun Twitter page actually, and they've gone beyond just their own Twitter page, but they've actually been referencing other Twitter users that are leakers, for example SyluxHunter, and Sylux has been hostile towards Samus, which fits the supposed canon we have between Sylux and Samus, but also it's interesting because Sylux is proving themselves to be a more reliable leaker than SyluxHunter. And on the note of SyluxHunter, I do have to say that I am someone who's talked about SyluxHunter on the channel a few times before, and there was a while where I talked about them a lot. And this was early on when I felt that the information they were conveying was pretty good. They were giving us consistent, correct information. But as time went on, even though I had a lot of conversations with this person and there were things they said that lined up with things that I believed based off research and analysis and speculation, but also things I heard personally from insiders, just other people that I know, And it all lined up. So, I talked more about this person, for example, the Donkey Kong thing. So we had those discussions, we put out some videos, but again, as time went on, I started to notice the information was vague. It was increasingly less reliable. I remember when they were very confident about there being a big Splatoon focused at E3 2021, and it wasn't there at all. And then they were one of many people who thought we would get just a focus of Legends Arceus DLC in the Pokemon Presents, and Generation 9 would be delayed until 2023. That was the consensus. It wasn't just SyluxHunter, but they were wrong on that. And they've been wrong about a lot of things lately. And basically my point is that I don't talk about SyluxHunter anymore because I no longer feel like they are a reliable source of information or even a semi-reliable source of information. And I would love to be proven wrong on that because, I've had conversations with this person. I would love to see them actually have some legitimate information here. Maybe they had it at one point and they no longer do. It's hard to say because typically people who do this have friends that are on the inside that give them the information. Maybe those people no longer work in those places. Maybe they got outed. Or maybe they just got really lucky. Hard to say. Anyways, currently, SyluxHunter is looking to have a pretty strong track record. It's not a big one, but everything in it is 100% accurate. So I'm giving them the time of my day. I think they're worth considering. They're at least fun to talk about. And other people feel the same way as well, which is why recently there was an exclusive interview with Switchforce. Sylux actually went on Switchforce, and it looks like Sylux just provided text and then they used some sort of like robotic voice to emulate an actual voice during the video, but it's a very fun video. Definitely I recommend watching it. Some fun and good information there, so it'll be linked in the description below. But there were some things that came out from that as well. Switchforce asked Sylux about their thoughts on Metroid Prime, and they basically just said that they sort of believe the other people who've talked about it who are reliable industry insiders like Emily Rogers, Jeff Grubb, Nate the Hate. And I agree, they are all legitimate industry insiders and they have legitimate information. So if they're saying it, I believe it too. Granted, take it with a grain of salt because plans can change, but it seems pretty good because they are doubling down on it as of late. And SyluxHunter was also asked about games they were anticipating to be playing soon, and they talked about 3, one of them that's not announced yet, an unannounced game. So perhaps that could be an allusion towards Metroid Prime Remake that may be coming out this holiday as reported by Jeff Grubb. But it's also possible they could be alluding to what they were teasing at the end, because Switchforce asked if they could tease something, and so they did. So SyluxHunter provided this binary code, 0s and 1s. And I myself saw that and I tried to sort of figure out what it meant as well, and all I got was 25, 7, 2, 16. I couldn't make it out. I was wondering if it was release dates. I looked at different release dates for the Metroid series, for the Mario Kart series, for the Zelda series, maybe anticipating a Mario Kart DLC announcement, or when this rumored Metroid Prime could be announced, or maybe something for Twilight Princess of Moonwalker HD getting announced soon. But apparently it has nothing to do with any of those games. Apparently it has to do with F-Zero. Besides, went ahead and put out a tweet here, and a whole bunch of people put their guesses as to what the cryptic code may mean, and Sylux didn't respond to them until one person got the right answer. And this person goes by Bozo the Chozo. There's a theme here of different Metroid characters with Twitter accounts getting things right about Nintendo things going on, apparently. Apparently this person has no following. I don't know if it's another account just made by SyluxHunter themselves. Hard to say, but apparently the code stands for YGP. 25 being for Y, the 25th letter, 7 being for G, the 7th letter, 2 being for B, the 2nd letter, and then 16 being for P, the 16th letter. And YGP is actually an acronym for You Got Boost Power, a famous phrase from F-Zero. Now it may fit, but that doesn't mean that's what the cryptic tweet was alluding to, except SyluxHunter does confirm this. In the Twitter thread, promoting his collaboration with Switchforce and also talking about the cryptic message he put out there, he did confirm that Bozo the Chozo was the person who got it right. But he also said to maybe manage your expectations a little bit. But yes, this is an allusion towards F-Zero. So what does this mean? Assuming SyluxHunter is 100% accurate here, which again we should take with a grain of salt, you never really know. Well, I mean, I guess it means something having to do with F-Zero, right? But what? They do say manage your expectations. So when they say manage your expectations, is it possible they're suggesting that this is not going to be that major of an effort? That's a possibility. You know, maybe if we manage our expectations, we won't be disappointed when it ends up just being, say, an eShop release. Or maybe it's just some F-Zero content added to Mario Kart alongside the DLC. Those would be maybe a little disappointing, sure, but I will take almost anything at this point. Maybe they just mean we'll be getting a GameCube remaster for F-Zero GX, which honestly would be incredibly amazing. I think that would be really good. But also it's possible that they heard about F-Zero and they just don't know when it's coming out. But they heard about F-Zero being worked on. And that's why they're saying to manage your expectations. They don't know when it's coming out, but it is going to be a legitimate, actual new F-Zero game. There's a number of possibilities here, but I'll tell you this. I'm not expecting it to come out this year. I've been talking about a number of things that could get announced this year that could be squeezed in. Could it be squeezed in theory? Absolutely. But at this point, save for a couple more announcements, I think we should start thinking about what Nintendo's going to have for next year. Because at this point, officially, all we know about is Breath of the Wild 2 for spring 2023. At some point, Nintendo's going to need to have more things to come out then. Now, there has been this listing for Advance Wars, maybe that's coming out in February, and all of a sudden, you know, the early months of 2023 are starting to fill out a little bit. Maybe this F-Zero game will be announced in a September Direct, and it'll be coming out in the first half of the year. Maybe it could be like their big sort of multiplayer racer game to come out in time for the summer. You know, something akin to like a Switch Sports or a Mario Strikers or a Splatoon. You know, something that you can play online, have good multiplayer fun, something that's fast-paced and energetic. It kind of fits that sort of spring-summer theme. I think I could see that happening, and I could see it getting announced in a September Direct. I think that's in the cards. That would be amazing. It coming out this year, though, I think that's pretty unlikely at this point. But still, the fact that there is someone out there that is putting out information that's been 100% accurate about things happening with Nintendo, and now they are teasing something for F-Zero, that's pretty good. I talk about F-Zero every year, and I know it's been a long time, but eventually we will get more F-Zero, and perhaps that time is finally coming. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you believe SyluxHunter has some credibility here? Do you believe that F-Zero is coming? And if so, are you excited about it? What do you think it will be? Tell me in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.